My dear Aquarius, this reading is especially for you. Many of you have wrote me over the past couple days and talked to me about having anxiety around the holidays, the winter holidays, which are now upon us. So if you celebrate the winter solstice, if you celebrate Hanukkah, if you celebrate Kwanzaa, Christmas, Yule, um, there's got to be other ones too. If you celebrate any of the winter holidays, this reading is for you. If you're an Aquarius, sun or moon, you're gonna or rising, you're gonna have a very strong connection with this. And we're gonna do this pick a pile style. So this is going to be pile one, this is going to be pile two, and this is going to be pile three. So what you want to do is you want to pause this video and pick your pile. After you know which pile is yours, come back and I'm going to tell you what all the cards mean. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone who might like it too. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. Let us know what plans you have for the winter holidays. And if you want to get a reading done, please hit me up, email me. Hit me up on social media. I would love to give you a personal private reading. This reading is done for the collective, so one or all of these cards may apply to you. But if you want a personal private reading, all the cards are going to apply to you. So please email me or hit me up on social media. Please join us over on Patreon, because in 2024 we're going to be doing some fun stuff over on my Patreon. And let's get started. Pile number one. Your first card is the High Priestess. This means that those of you who are in pile number one, you need to first and foremost let your intuition do the talking this holiday season. It's going to tell you when to speak, when not to speak, who to speak to, who to duck, you know, who to bypass, who's going to be a pain in the behind. As you're getting ready to see, you got some pain in the behind energy around you. So this card is all about using your gut instincts, your gut feelings. If you're not an intuitive person, pay attention during this holiday season, because you might surprise yourself. Also, this card is for spiritual and religious people. So people, if you are in any kind of spirituality, any kind of spiritual system, any kind of religion, any kind of anything, it's saying here that this is a great time to really focus on that. So if you're a Wiccan, for example, you may want to do a Yule candle. If you're a Christian, this might be a really great time for you to go around doing charity. If you're somebody who likes to light candles, this is a great time for all kinds of candle magic, things like that. Of course, people who were in the Hanukkah tradition, they do something with candles and light. A lot of the traditions do something spiritual or religious with candles, usually with light, with presents, with good deeds, baby Jesus, all of the above. So I would say tap into your spirituality as well. Let that be a gift to you and others this holiday season. All right, Aquarius. Here is your next card. So because of that, pile one, it says here that many of you are going to make very wise decisions because you're going to be following, remember I said, your intuition. Now this card right here is a great one because it's telling us the angels are going to be around. All these cards here are from an angel deck. So it's saying that the angels are coming around and they're telling you to wear black and white. Interesting colors. It says here the color white is providing clarity and perspective. It's a nod of assurance from your divine. The color black is grounding you into reality and affirming you're heading in the right direction. Black is also a very protective color. A lot of witches and a lot of people who are into spirituality wear black. And people think, they do it to be mysterious or spooky, but no, it's because it's a protective color. So for those of you who are going to be out there in the public dealing with, in-laws and family members, and sometimes it can be pleasant and sometimes not, that black is going to be a very protective energy. So that's going to be a good thing as well. So because you're following your intuition, many of you are going to make great decisions. You're going to be very well organized. You're going to be accurate. You're going to be brilliant. And you're going to get validation from your friends and family. So it looks like Pile 1, things are looking pretty good for you. This holiday season is not too bad. Many of you are also going to get a gift. And it's the holiday season, so many of you are going to get probably even more than one gift. But this card right here is very special because it says to wish for what you want. So tap into your law of attraction energy. Do that candle magic too, those of you who do candle magic, because this is a very auspicious card for manifestation. So if there's something particular that you want, ask for that Christmas miracle and you just might get it, Part 1. Then it also recommended that you spend time doing arts and crafts. This is a great thing to do around the holidays. Some people make ornaments. Some people make gingerbread houses, bake all kinds of cookies and stuff. This is a great time to do this with you and your loved ones. At the bottom it says, nothing exists without the essence of spirit. May it be whispers or chants, your energy is what brings life to all that you create. So if you have kids, this is a great time to do arts and crafts with them. And of course, the adults, this is a great idea. And the wonderful thing about the arts and crafts is you can do like DIY things. And if they come out nicely, you can even give them as gifts. I know in some traditions, all of the gifts have to be handmade. I love that. I think that's a cool tradition. So some of you in Power 1 might want to do some of those things. Maybe you give somebody something that you made. I don't know. They have all kinds of stuff at Michael's and Hobby Lobby and all kinds of things. So some people may want to make, especially if, like I said before, those of you who have children, this could be a great tradition to start. Power 1, I asked who could get on your nerves this holiday season, who could be a pain in the behind and be difficult for you. You got this card. It's the servant card, but you got it reversed. So that means that we're dealing with the shadow aspect. And it says using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward from life. So for those of you in Power 1, the people who may get on your nerves are the ones that, in my family, we say humming and bumming and hate to see them coming. Some of you know what I'm talking about. These are people who always come around. They don't have a gift. They got their hand out. I remember I had one family member that would always come to family events. And he had a flask. A flask is a little bottle, for those of you who don't know, that you keep alcohol in. And he would come to everybody's holiday party and fill up his flask. Eat food and take a plate. Okay? And go on to the next party. This is the kind of person I'm talking about. Humming, bumming, hate to see them coming. They don't have a present for nobody. They didn't bring a pie. They didn't bring nothing. And they do this year after year after year. And sometimes, like it says here, it's because they have a lack of money, which is fine, you know. Sometimes we all have had a lack, not all of us, but many of us have had a lack of money. But the point of the matter is that this kind of person does this all of the time. Okay? So some of y'all may have to deal with those kind of people. They could be related. They could be family members. They could be in-laws. They could be friends. So some of you will come across these humming, bumming people. And I would suggest, since they gave us your last card, for forgiveness. So this card says, I get the help I need when I need it from various sources. My support system is strong and healthy. So reach out to your support system. Stay away from those that are bumming. Remember, you cannot change another person. I let others be who they are, and I simply love who I am. This is how you deal with your humming, bumming people. You can't change them. Let them be who they are. Love who you are. Set boundaries with them. And when they step over your boundaries, don't allow it. You know? This could be different for different situations. But those of you who have to deal with this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So Power 1, that is yours. Power 1, that's not too bad, you know. And all things considered, yours is, I think, the best out of these three piles. Let me show you this one. This is pile number 2. Pile number 2, your card came up reversed like that. Let me show it to you in the upright. Isn't that pretty? I love the pinks. So this is the Ten of Pentacles reversed. When the Ten of Pentacles comes up reversed, this card means that you could have some drama. You could have some fights. You could have some quarrels. Your uncle could get drunk and cuss everybody out. your neighbor could, blow up their turkey outside in the air fryer. I mean, all kind of things can go wrong with this, with neighbors, family, friends, your own family, your significant others. All kind of things go wrong with this card. So when the Ten of Pentacles is reversed, we expect problems. We expect quarrels. We expect there could be some issues. So because you already know that, I would say try to take precautions for that. Be careful who you invite over. If you know people got beef, don't sit them don't sit them next to each other at the table. Like stuff like that. You're going to have to pay attention for those kind of things, because many of you who choose to be so social are going to have that problem. Other people who choose not to be social, this may be a time when you're lonely. This may be a time when you're feeling alienated from other people. Maybe you've gone through some bad stuff like a divorce or something throughout the year, and this could be a very difficult time for you. So the angels said to reach out. All of you who were in this pile, the angels said here to reach into your spiritual relationships. That means using your intuition, your connection, your signs, and your inspiration. Spiritual relationships are the relationships you have with your ancestors and any other spirits, angels, gods, goddesses, whatever you may be connected to, if anything. And if you're not, it would definitely tie into your ancestors and those who you love to have passed over. You guys, they said to wear purple and green. The color green is amplifying all forms of communication. Interesting. It will strengthen signs, messages, and your intuition. Purple energy is your channel to universal energy and your spiritual team. So you guys, because of all this drama that's going on for many of you, you need to be really connected to your spiritual team. And when it said that thing about communication, it made me realize that we're also in Mercury retrograde. So for a lot of us that do have issues, the retrograde causes problems with communication. The retrograde causes problems with toxic exes trying to come back to you. The retrograde often causes things like that. So some of you, it's going to be communication issues because of the retrograde. So those are the colors that they recommend for you to wear. And they recommend to be in contact. Also, prayer and meditation will help with this vibration too. So if you're in prayer and, meditation, that's going to help you be able to deal with those pesky individuals who choose to get on your nerves this holiday season. Pile 2, you also have this card here. This card here told you not to procrastinate. It says go move forward, do your thing. Don't procrastinate. If you're uncomfortable in a certain place, move on to another place. If you're at your aunt's house and things are funky, go to grandma's. If there's somewhere else to be, go there. Some of you may even want to say, you know what? I'm just going to travel. I'm going to take a road trip with my lover. Okay? I would just take a road trip up to God knows where, wherever you're at. So this one is talking about not forgetting that you can get away. If it gets too much for you before things pop off to an extent that they're really irreversible, you can always choose to leave. Okay? So this is a very important card. For some of you, this is going to be stellar advice. But they say a good run is better than a bad stand any day. Isn't that what they used to say? I totally believe that. Pile 2, you also have the Antlers card. This is a beautiful card. Allow the magic of who you are to be seen by the eyes you keep. You are enough, my dear. Take ease in receiving. So this card tells you to be comfortable with receiving. This is a very interesting concept. For a lot of people who have problems with receiving. It also says here, this is an auspicious card. So for many of you, you're going to find success by yourself. That's interesting to me because remember it said some of you need to just leave. So some of you are going to find success choosing to spend the holidays working, choosing to spend the holidays by yourself or with one other person. Some of y'all are going to make that decision, and some of you are going to find one person in the crowd that's your buddy and kind of stick with your holiday buddy, you know. And my family is my cousin. It's my cousin, my favorite cousin, and as soon as I see my cousin, I know all is well. Okay, so some of you are going to have to find that buddy, and you'll be successful in that way. Now, who could be your irk? Pile 2, your irk is a shadow person too. This came up reversed. So it says your irk is the misuse of power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. So your irk is a churchy person or a very know-it-all person, a very religious person. You know, your cousin that is Muslim now and stop eating pork and lectures you every time they see you. This is that kind of person. This is the kind of person who uses their own spirituality or their own knowledge, their own psychology, their own whatever. They misuse it to basically beat on you. And my family, I have an aunt that does this. Every time you come around her, she starts preaching to you about God and going to church and blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't have anything against that, but I don't believe in pushing or imposing spiritual beliefs on another person unless they ask. If somebody asks me the good news about God is all set, I'm going to tell them. But I'm not going to impose my views, my practices, my thoughts on another person. This is that kind of person. This is the kind of person that's going to impose their beliefs, their goals, their philosophies, especially around religion, but not only on you. These people, Aquarius, are going to be a pain in the butt. They're going to be a pain in the butt to deal with. And they probably are every time you see them. All right. So when these people come around, they said, return to the basics of life. Forgiveness, courage, gratitude, love, and humor. So when this person comes around, try to deal with it with humor. You know, crack some jokes, lighten the mood, you know. Talk about something else. Change the subject. They start talking about the good news of Jesus. Tell them, how about we discuss the homeless in our city and what we can do to give back. What can we do this holiday season to help people? Why don't we talk about that instead of arguing about whose religion is the best one and whose politics are best? You know, the other side, it says, the past is over, so it has no power now. The thoughts of this moment create my future. So try to stay in the present. Don't argue about old shit. Because some of y'all, that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be the present. It's going to be old stuff. It's going to be stuff that happened in 1978. You know what I'm saying? You know how you come around for a family event and people start arguing about stuff that happened before you was even born? That's the kind of thing this is talking about. Don't get caught up in that. Don't argue with others or getting pulled into other people's arguments. Stay in the present moment and try to keep everybody else in the present moment if you can do that. Because sometimes just you speaking out or saying something positive or turning on some music or changing the subject or bringing out pie with whipped cream at the right time can change the whole mood of the evening. So pile 2, that looks a little rough. That looks a little rough. Pile 3. Pile 3, you got the 3 of Wands reversed. This is how the card looks in the upright. Pretty. But you got it reversed. I love these cards because they remind me of the winter time. That's why I use these. All the cards I use today remind me of the winter. So that's why I chose them. Pile 3, let's talk about what's going on with you. When the 3 of Wands is reversed, pile 3, that's not that bad. What that is saying is that for many of you, there's going to be delays. So for some of you, you might be trying to get someplace. Like let's say you're trying to get to grandma's by 4:30 and you don't show up until 5:30 because of traffic. Stuff like that. So I would suggest that if you're in pile 3, that you make really good use of time management. Try to leave early. If you have somewhere to be, don't wait until the last moment. This indicates delays, difficulties with journeys too. So check your car. Make sure, if you're going on a trip or something like that, even if you're just going to grandma's, make sure that you checked your oil, you checked your tires, make sure that your vehicle is up to speed. Or if you're going like on a different, a boat or something like that, make sure that that's all good. Whatever you're using to travel, make sure it's copacetic, because some of you are going to find yourself breaking down. Some of you are going to be delayed. Some of you aren't going to be able to go. Some of you are going to have to work at the last minute. Some of these kind of things come up in this 3 of Wands, especially those of you who have your own business or who work for another business. Some of you may run into that. That's going to be a big deal for some of you. Here's your angel, pile 3. Pile 3, you got Archangel Chamuel, one of my favorite archangels. Chamuel recommends light green for those of you who want to do a color association. This color is going to help with happiness, vibrancy, energy, and hope. So this will keep you from getting hopeless when your car breaks down, or or when your tire comes off, or when you run out of gas because you forgot to put more in the car, or you lose your car keys and now you're stuck somewhere you don't feel like being. That kind of thing. So light green is something that will help with that happiness and that vitality and give you a vibrant mood, which we all want during the holidays. Who wants a sour mood? All right, so now we have this card here. This card is an interesting one every time I pull it, because it tells me that for some of you, for many of you, there's going to be something in the air. You see this? This is an elephant in the room. This means that there's something going on that you might not quite be able to put your finger on. Maybe there's a family secret that people are whispering about that you don't know about, or one that you're whispering about that you haven't told others about. There's a disquiet in the air. There's something going on here. This card says focus and use your intuition, because you're going to be able to figure out what that is without anybody having to tell you. So pay very close attention, pile 3. There's something in the mist. Pile 3, look at this. This is so pretty. Love her cauldron. Isn't she beautiful? May the serpent wake, bellowing with the rising flame and beckoning the wisdom that awaits your return. This is a beautiful card. This card is all about tapping into your own innate wisdom. We all have inner wisdom and inner knowledge that comes from our ancestors, our intuition, the things that we've read and experienced. So this card is talking about you guys in pile 3 tapping into that internal wisdom. And this is also going to come in the form of elders. Some of you are going to have some elders around that are going to be very helpful with this. So go to those matrons in the family. Go to those crones, male and female. Go to those who have the knowledge, the magic, the wisdom. Talk to them this holiday season while you guys are sitting around watching football, getting ready for the turkey to finish baking. Have these conversations with them. This, you might not think about it like this, but one day we're all not going to be here. Okay? So those conversations are going to be the memories that last you and your children a lifetime. Okay? So tap into those positive energies wherever you can. And the cards are telling me, here's yours. You got some bully energy that's going to be around. So again, you want to tap into that positive energy as much as possible. Your bully conceals deep fears behind verbal and physical abuse. So some of you in pile 3, it's kind of similar to the people in pile 2 with the quarrels and the fights and stuff. But some of you may actually be triggered with traumas. Because your bully may have been verbally and physically abusive your whole life. This could be that auntie that takes it a step beyond just talking about her, spiritual practices, but she used to beat you. She used to whack you. She maybe have did other inappropriate things with you, of different kinds. So, or this uncle or this person, this neighbor, So some of you may be triggered by the past because of that, because this person is still around, still has deep fears, still abusive. So I would say for some of you, I wouldn't even go. If you know somebody's going to be around who's going to try to like intimidate and bully you and you can't handle that trigger or don't want to handle that trigger, I would suggest maybe making other plans. It already talked about delays and things like that, so maybe this is something that you use and you use it in your best interest. Like, oh, the car broke down, sorry, I can't come. Stuff along those lines. So for those of you who are in pile 3, be very careful for abusive energy, abuse of all kinds. And some of you, this abuse may be in your own home. You may be dealing with this with your narcissistic boyfriend, for example, or your narcissistic girlfriend, or your physically abusive husband, or something like that. It depends on your circumstances. So be really careful with this. And if you somebody that needs help, get the help you need. There are domestic violence hotlines in, I think, every corner of the globe. Get some help. Go online. Do your research. If somebody is really physically harming you and you have to be around them, there are things you can do. And lastly, when I make a mistake, I realize that it's only part of the learning process. So don't beat yourself up for any of these mistakes or delays or things that go wrong. Don't take on blame and burden when it's not your fault either, because that bully person might have you doing that and thinking that things are your fault that are not. And the last part of this for pile 3, it says, as I forgive myself, it becomes easier to forgive others. In any case where you can forgive yourself and others, it's always in your best interest. But if a person is not willing to stop harming you, that forgiveness is not reconciliation. That forgiveness is not being a doormat. That forgiveness is setting boundaries and leaving that person alone. To forgive yourself is to be easy on yourself, to free yourself from that burden. And to forgive others is to free yourself of the bitterness and the resentment and the hurt of what they did. So remember, it's not always reconciliation. Sometimes you do reconcile with the person, but that's a person who's grown, out of that space, a person who's done their work not to harm you, not to abuse you, not to be a bully. But if they're still doing the same thing, you absolutely do not have to reconcile with that person. Okay? And if you need to, avoid them. All right, Aquarius, I wish you happy holidays, whatever you practice. There's so many to name. Personally, I do practice the winter solstice most years. I usually do a Yule candle or something like that. And then on Christmas Day, I was raised Catholic, so it's still a fun, happy day for me. Christmas Eve too, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I take any excuse to have a good time. So I'm going to enjoy my winter holidays, and I hope you enjoy yours too. And you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.